Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 22, Midway Meltdown. On the cover, Brian stands in the middle of a hall of mirrors with his back turned to the reader. We can see his distorted reflection in dozens of mirrors. In the mirror he's facing, we see Brian's undistorted reflection smiling back at him. Looming behind the reflection, we see Dykstra's liquid metal face. We turn the page and our story begins. So our first panel is Lighthammer's phone. Actually, Lighthammer, I don't think we've ever gotten a description of your phone. What kind of phone does Lighthammer use?
It's whatever the newest version of the iPhone in this world is. Like, he's one of those people who gets it day of, like, the brand new one. And it's probably pretty personalized. There's probably some, like, Lighthammer engravings on the back of it. And he also definitely doesn't have a case on it. A lot of his like tech communication stuff happens through his suit. Like he can send text and receive text messages and stream to the internet all with like his helmet.
Okay, cool. So yeah, our first panel is Lighthammer's phone laying on the ground. And this is made of like wooden planks. And the screen is open to a DM from the Rascal King that says, "Hey Lighthammer, I'm not sure if you're still looking for that remix guy, but I think I have some information. I'm pretty sure he bought a few things off my boss, and I think I tracked down where it's going." And we're going to start this with a move. So I need the team leader for this session to roll plus superior. Who's the leader in this tracking down remix situation?
Probably me.
Cool. So the team leader rolls plus superior.
That's a 7.
Okay, on a 7 to 9, your team holds 2. This hold can be spent anytime during this session. It can be spent like team, but for yourself. You just give me a couple panels of the prep you did before this situation and how it is helping you now, and then take a +1. You can do that before or after you roll. Our next panel shows the Moon Harbor boardwalk. And on that boardwalk, we can see just a bunch of robotic people. They're very similar to the robots you all fought at the TV station. And there's just a small horde of those. We can see the whole team kind of in the foreground. And far in the background of this, I think standing on a building, we can see a shaded figure that is clearly Dykstra. Let's say they're standing like on top of some like a Midway carnival game. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe, we're just going to start right there. Does the leader have influence over every teammate?
I have influence over Brian and Carl. Yes, I have influence over everyone.
And Lighthammer, what is your purpose in this fight? If you have questions, feel free to like ask them here. I can give you any bits you need to make that decision.
Yeah, what are we doing here? What's happening?
This is where Rascal King thinks that Remix is. Searching through, you have not yet found signs of Remix, but Dykstra and Dykstra's minions have attacked.
My goal is to get away with as little collateral damage as possible. So end the fight painlessly.
And team?
Yeah, same.
Brian is probably more preoccupied with the presence of Dykstra, getting rid of it.
So we're at 3 team there. Does any team member mistrust the leader or the team?
No.
Nope.
I don't think Carl ever mistrusted anyone.
And I'm going to say you're not ill-prepared or off-balance, though you kind of are as players, as characters. Like, the result of that roll showed me you weren't. You've had some time to explore the area and such not. So we are at 3 team.
And also, I have that new move.
Do you have influence over Lighthammer?
Yes.
Let's start with Brian then. You've got a bunch of robots running towards you. This is your chance to provide tactical input if you'd like. You've got a bunch of these robots running towards the team, and the like clear but shaded figure of Dykstra in the background.
I'm going to tell people to split up and attack it from all sides.
Well, there are 3 of us and a horde of robots. So, good luck with that, kids. And then I think I'm going to try to break the... Is this a boardwalk that's over sand, or is it the boardwalk that's built over the water?
I think it extends over both. Let's say you're over the sand currently.
How far down is it?
How far is normal for a boardwalk?
Like 6 feet.
Cool, we'll go with that.
Cool. At that moment, I'm gonna like break underneath the boardwalk and try to come up from the other side.
Cool, what's it look like you breaking through?
I'm just gonna take the hammer and like point the hammer and just send a sonic blast down at the wood underneath my feet, or like right in front of me, and just like blast it open and then drop down the hole.
Cool, yeah, we get the panel of you dropping down off panel. Carl, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna charge my Nova. Also, I'm wondering if the rest of the team, like, would I have spoken to the rest of the team about what happened with the last issue?
That is entirely up to you. Do you think you would have?
I think it would be a lot more fun if they didn't know. Okay,
Let's say they haven't.
So as Lighthammer says, have fun with this many robots. Carl runs off to the side and you can see these dark blue stripes enveloping him, and then he turns into a water golem, like a water elemental. And I'm gonna charge my burn with, so that's a 12.
All right. And I think, yeah, we get the panel of you charging your burn while these, let's say like 10-ish robots rushing towards you. Brian, what are you doing during this?
I'm looking at him like, you could do that? I think Brian has come with a magnet of his own this time and is going to start setting that up. Some assembly required for this. He's going to start building this large object.
Cool. Are you like taking shelter behind Water Golem Carl during this?
I told everybody to split up. Yeah, I probably don't want to just be standing there right in front of them. Oh, well, look, there's a convenient building that I'm going to run behind.
Cool. Yeah, we get the panel of you like behind the Hall of Mirrors setting up this magnet device. And I think from there, we're going to jump back to Carl. Carl, what are you doing? These robots are now bearing down on you.
I'm going to try to spray a jet of water so that they... Basically, I'm trying to make a path for myself to keep running towards Dijkstra.
I think you're unleashing your powers if you're focusing on getting through instead of hurting.
Well, it has to be engage a threat because it's a reality storm, right? I think I didn't specify.
Oh, are you reality storming? Okay.
Yeah, I'm reality storming with my burn.
Go ahead and roll and then tell us what it looks like. Are you going to roll anything but a 12 tonight?
Nah, I'm just going to do 12s.
All right, on a 12, pick 2.
Oh, and I'm doing this with 2 burns, so there's no collateral. Extend my hands forwards, like in the motion you would do if you're warming your hands by the fire, like stick them out with my palms face towards them. And then I'm gonna spray 2 giant blasts of water straight ahead of me. It frightens the opposition, and it pushes away the bots that were near me, so I resist or avoid their blows.
If you wanted to cut through a path, you could take something from them.
Okay, so I'll do that. I'll do frighten the opposition and take something from them then.
So we get this big blast of water that just pushes these robots off to the side, and you're running forward through that? Just want to make sure I was understanding.
Yeah, I'm probably like half surfing my own water while spraying it.
Oh god, yes, I love that. As you're getting past, like you're past the majority of the group, and we see one of them just stab a like electric sparking rod into your back. Why don't you go ahead and take a powerful blow?
That's an 8, so I'm gonna struggle past the pain and just keep going and mark 2 conditions.
Okay, cool. What conditions are you marking?
I'm going to go with afraid, because it's the first time I've experienced electricity while in my water form. I'm going to do insecure because of the electricity, because I'm keeping going, so afraid wouldn't make sense. So insecure and angry, like angry Carl.
Excellent. And I think like we get a nice panel of you getting zapped by this electricity, and like it lights up this whole area of the boardwalk. And our next panel is Lighthammer underneath the boardwalk. It's actually really quiet down here.
Well, it's not going to be quiet for long. You see that I've taken off one of my gauntlets and like set a timer on it. So it's going to like release a sonic blast that like kind of like ripples the boards of the boardwalk towards Dijkstra. I want to make it look like something is coming from under the boardwalk towards Dykstra. And then I want to be using my move, Are You Watching Closely? Which is when you mislead, distract, or trick someone, roll plus superior.
What are you trying to get Dykstra to do?
I'm trying to get him to focus on the attack that is coming from this other direction, the not real attack. So I can like flip up and hit him or hit it like while it is distracted.
Before you roll that, I want to throw out that from below the boardwalk, we can hear Dykstra's voice yelling out, "Show yourself, Brian."
As soon as I hear that phrase, I'm going to trigger the gauntlet to like launch the sonic wave.
What does that look like underneath?
The gauntlet, like 2 fingers are stuck up through the boardwalk. So like the hand itself is kind of like hanging underneath the boardwalk. Like you can see that the palm of the hand is like glowing and charged up. I've switched on my helmet to like be live streaming, and I'm like, y'all gotta watch this. And I like turn to face the gauntlet as the gauntlet like launches the attack.
And I think our next panels are above, and we see like the boardwalk boards snapping as this like wave goes towards Dykstra. And you rolled a 7?
Mm-hmm. So on a 7 to 9, I choose 2. I get an opportunity. I expose a weakness or flaw. I confuse them for some time, or I avoid further entanglement. I want to expose a weakness or flaw and get an opportunity.
We see Dykstra on top of this Midway thing jump down and punch into the boardwalk right at the end of where this wave of force is going through. It's clear that he thought you were there, and it throws him backwards. He slams backwards into a haunted house, and we see him very slowly pulling himself up and hear him once again yell out, "Brian, you need to get out here. I can't handle them alone."
I think while it is down and slowly getting up, I think I've taken the opportunity to like slip around and come up behind it. And I think that as it like fully stands up, I'm gonna tap it on the shoulder, so it turns to face me, and then I'm gonna be like, "Boo," and hit it with a hammer.
Go ahead and roll to directly engage.
That's an 11. I think I want to create an opportunity for my allies, and it feels like I'm frightening him. I was definitely coming up from, like, intentionally coming up with the haunted house to my back, so, like, all the, like, spooky lightning effects are all behind me, so I get a fun moment of, like, spookiness before I hit it.
When you hit it with the hammer, it explodes into just liquid metal. And this kind of rains down across the battlefield, and we see it dripping down below the through the boards to the underside. And in the panel behind Lighthammer, we start seeing like that purple distortion, and stepping through is a actually fairly short, kind of scrawny person. On their head, they have a very simple, like, flat black face shield. But suspended around them, you see like 7 or 8 different holographic keyboards with both of their arms and like 2 additional holographic, like hard light hologram arms. They're typing quickly on all of these. And we have a little voice bubble from them that says, yeah, I'm here. And we're going to cut over to Brian. Brian, what have you been working on behind that Hall of Mirrors?
I've been working on this little trapezoidal cone shape thing that's about half my body height. And as I see this explosion and all of these, all of the liquid metal starting to disappear through the pier, well, first facepalm, and then I'm going to try to get this thing under the pier. I think I've just got a little pocket laser that I'm going to make a hole underneath it so that it falls through.
Are you going with it?
I'm going to stand on top of it as it falls.
Yeah, we get the panel of it dropping to the sand below with a heavy thump, and we see you standing on it, and the liquid metal dripping down, like coalescing to a single point where we can see Dykstra starting to reform. What do you do?
You asked for me. Here I am. Now, how about you come a little closer? And I'm going to turn it on.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll to unleash your powers.
Okay, and for this, I'm going to trigger that using a gadget move. So I can get a 7 instead of what would have been a 4.
On a 7, do you want to mark a condition, or do you want it to be unstable or temporary?
You know, I like having no conditions. I want it to be unstable or temporary.
Our next couple panels are Dykstra trying to pull back against this magnet and then just kind of just like being drawn out in a stream to it. And then we see a panel of like the machine and part of your legs just globbed up with Dykstra stuff. And we're going to jump back up to Carl. Carl, you're barreling towards what is now Lighthammer and standing behind Lighthammer Remix. Remix is typing very quickly on a bunch of keyboards. The robots are thrown off, but starting to reassemble. What are you doing?
I'm going to charge my puddle a bit more first, I think. As I'm barreling towards them, the water around me that I've been splashing around seems to gather back to Carl. And I'm gonna roll. It's 12.
Back to the 12s.
I'm going to shoot some water at the keyboard guy. Remix, is it? He has a black faceplate, right?
Yes.
I'm going to shoot the water in between the faceplate and his face so that it sort of waterboards him and forces him to take off the mask.
Go ahead and roll it. Are you doing a reality storm?
Yeah, I'm gonna reality storm in a terrifying fashion because I think waterboarding somebody with a stream of water counts as terrifying.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Are you spending the second burn to not do collateral?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So that's a 10. Okay, let's see. I'm going to resist or avoid their blows. I'm going to take something from them, of course, the faceplate. And I'm going to create an opportunity for my allies. I assume that like it preoccupies Remix for a while, so maybe Lighthammer can get in on the action.
When you shoot, like, do you still control once you've shot it? Like, is it flying towards and then curving up to go straight up? Is that how you picture it?
Yeah, I think there's like a slight bit of control. Like it's not the way I could control it if it were part of my body, but kind of like Carl's spirit energy form. Kind of, I can slightly do stuff with it.
All right, cool. And yeah, we see it like just filling the face mask from the underneath, and they reach up, like freaking out, rip off the helmet, and underneath it we definitely see Brian's face. A little older, a little more grizzled, but it's clearly Brian. He throws the helmet and kind of sputters, like stammers back a little bit, and we hear him yell out, "Dykstra, where the hell are you?" Lighthammer, what are you doing?
My initial reaction is going to be to do the like terrible Lighthammer thing that I don't think I've done in this comic line yet, but where I take my gauntlets and put them on either side of someone's head and like send sound waves and like blast their brain kind of. Except as I go to do that, I realize that I'm just missing a gauntlet because it's still underneath the boardwalk. So I like go to put my hands on either side of his head, and then I'm like, and then I'm just gonna punch him in the face.
Go ahead and roll. Just directly engage.
That's a miss. That's a 4.
We have enough through team and the other hold to get that up, or do you want to let it stand?
It can stand unless someone is really, really dying too. I think Brian's in a place where he's distracted enough that he wouldn't be able to bring team up, so we'd only be able to bring it up to 2 anyway.
Cool. We get the panels of you reaching up to do the hand thing, noticing, and then you draw back your fist, and then we get a close-up panel of like 3 different panels of two of Remix's hands and one of the holographic hands quickly typing. And then as you swing, a portal rips open, your fist goes through, and then you fall through the portal. It snaps shut. And then Remix starts walking forward, typing again on all four keyboards. We're going to jump down to Brian, or Asimov.
Who is currently busy monologuing. Yeah, how do you like that? This magnet specifically attracts only the metal that you're made out of. It's the perfect weapon against you.
We get like bits of Dykstra trying to pull off of this magnet, and like the best he manages is to pull like a tendril like a foot or so away, and then it gets snapped back to it. And then we see like mouths opening up in the liquid metal, and we hear Dykstra saying, "Brian, I never doubted your abilities, just your commitment." And you can feel it start to harden up around like your feet where you're kind of inside of it. What are you doing?
I'm going to start using my laser on it.
Excellent. Go ahead and directly engage.
7.
Pick one.
I will resist or avoid their blows.
Yeah, we get a couple panels of the laser just burning bits of the metal, and Dykstra just shrieking this shrill shriek. And we hear Dykstra saying, "Just join. You're the smartest of the ones of you I've found. You made me. If you join me, we'd be unstoppable." And I think from there, we are going to cut back to Carl. Carl, Lighthammer's just disappeared into a portal, and Remix is standing in front of you, mask off, wildly typing. We can see like these purple distortions appearing in several places around. Behind you, the robots have kind of reformed and are running back towards you. What are you doing?
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I haven't used this move ever, I think. So I'm going to look at Remix and go, "Oh, hi, Brian. I didn't see you there. Why are you over there?" And I'm going to use it to trigger my move, not from around here. When you act clueless, goofy, or confused to get out of a sticky, mundane situation, roll freak. On a hit, you create an opportunity, distraction, or plausible excuse. So I'm going to confuse the hell out of Remix by...
I'm not sure this is a mundane situation.
Yeah, because I kind of blasted his faceplate off, right? And the robots are coming at me.
Yeah, I think that is something that's normally not used in battle.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I would consider this a mundane situation.
Cool. I'm just going to Reality Storm then. So that's a 10. Guess, of course.
Because you can't roll lower than a 10.
So Carl extends his arm and makes shapes his hand in a gun shape and aims it at Remix, and then he says bang, and instead of something shooting out of the finger, the whole arm just slams into his face.
Fantastic. What options are you taking off the list?
Okay, so that was way too cute to be terrifying, so I get to take 2.
Too cute to be terrified. Love it.
God, I don't want to get a bunch of robots in my face, so I'm gonna resist their blows. And I'm going to say that the arm suddenly splashing in his face surprised him.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I think we see him flying backwards, and then we see all of the like portals that were starting to open around him snap shut as he loses focus and stops working on them. He skids across the boardwalk, and the last panel we get of him for the moment is laying still. And then we see the robot starting to pile onto Carl from behind. From here, we're going to cut to Lighthammer. We get a picture of like an overhead view high above the boardwalk, and then we see a portal open, and we see Lighthammer fall out. Lighthammer, you are falling towards the ground. What do you want to do?
Literally none of my powers are helpful here, so I think I'm just gonna brace for impact. I think like I'm like oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. And like we've got the like live stream, like the light on being like, it's currently live streaming, and everyone's like, oh no, oh my god. There's like a lot of like comments of people being like, don't hurt yourself. But I'm just freaking out.
Excellent. So yeah, we get you falling, but down below we can see the scene we just had with Carl with the robots starting to pile on.
Is there any way I can like aim myself so I don't land on Carl?
Where would you like to try and land?
There's a moon bounce, and I'm gonna aim for the moon bounce. I only have one gauntlet to like sound wave me in the right direction, but I'm gonna try to like adjust my body and sound wave myself towards the moon bounce.
Give me an unleash.
Yeah. Moonbounce Lighthammer is my next favorite thing.
That's an 11. I go like tumbling through the air and like using one hand to try to like guide myself, like sending sound blasts in either direction, trying to like a plane with one engine, trying to like correct myself as I'm falling. I think I hit the side of the moon bounce and it like folds in and then bounces back, and I land in a perfect 3-point stance coming out of it.
Fantastic.
And then I like switch the helmet from like, there's like a selfie mode where it's like it makes an approximation of my face because the camera is like way too close to actually get that close to my face. So it like takes like a scan and shows like what the scan would be. But I like turn it to selfie mode and then I like wink at the audience and I'm like, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, and I think we see the stream next to the image of your face just going wild. And we're going to cut down to Brian. Brian, at this point, Dykstra has pulled away from you and is trying to pull as much of itself as it can to the bottom of this machine. What are you doing?
Well, gee, I'll really have to think about that offer. How about never, as I stamp my foot down on the machine to trigger it to power up even more. Specifically, I want to try to concentrate him to a point so that I can capture him.
Go ahead and roll to unleash.
Ooh, 4.
This machine like kicks into overdrive, and we see Dykstra being like compressed into a single small sphere. Did you have like a container you were going to put Dykstra into?
Yes, and I'm going to start monologuing about it.
Cool.
And what good would this magnet be without this? He pulls up a little dome-shaped, transparent thing with a removable lid. Obviously, I need a place to put you when we're all done with this, because, this magnet kind of uses up a lot of power. And I start walking over to it.
Yeah, I think we get the panels of you starting to put this dome, and then a part of Dykstra extends very quickly into just a long, sharp spear that just pierces you straight through the stomach. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow.
5. Oh, hey,
All
that's
right.
2 potential.
On a miss, you stand strong. How do you weather the blow?
So it deflects off of me, or I pull back a part of the cloak to reveal the armor that I'm wearing.
Oh, and I think seeing this, we hear Dykstra say, I underestimated you. I won't make that mistake again. And the spear spins and touches against the machine, and then Dykstra sucks itself into the machine. The machine starts whirring and smoking. You know this is about to explode. What are you doing?
A, I'm jumping off. B, I'm going to assume that Dykstra is now capable of copying this thing. So, very look of shock and disappointment on Brian's face as he leaps off of this thing.
Are you staying below, or do you want to get up above?
Yeah, I want to get up. I think I've said that I have like rocket shoes before or something.
I think so. How about our next panel is above you just rocketing out of the hole?
Yeah.
and then landing down. Carl, the robots are piling on you. Sorry, Gollum, right? At this point, the robots are piling on you. They've not yet hurt you. What are you doing?
I'm going to try to throw them off me. Like, I'm going to make myself a whole lot bigger so that they get thrown off me so they can pile on.
Go ahead and unleash.
That's a 14. I ran out of puddle, so what you see is that the water just all gathers in one point, and then it explodes into a bunch of rain. And then as the water clears, you can see that all the robots are thrown back, and in the middle of them lies this huge giant blue whale. And Carly yells, "TV whale!"
I think the panel we get is a nice like half-page panel with all these robots flying backwards past Asimov as he's flying towards your group. And our next panel is an explosion rocking that area of the boardwalk. Like this giant fireball that encompasses all of the robots. Lighthammer, what are you doing during this? I think to kind of reframe, between you and Carl is Remix. Seeing this explosion, Remix starts just typing fast as hell. You can see a portal ripping open in front of them.
I'm gonna send a sonic wave and try to like knock his hands off his keyboard and or like break his fingers because I still have the hammer with me, so I'm just gonna like swing it one-handed and try to just send a sonic wave.
Cool. Good. Roll to direct engage.
I'm gonna mark a condition since I have my audience watching and roll with superior, not with danger.
Stage fighting, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm gonna mark insecure. I thought I was in charge of this fight, but I actually have done very, very little, as far as I'm concerned. I want to show how I prepped for this.
Cool.
And spend a hole to make that a 7.
What do those panels look like?
I think we see me like swinging the hammer, and as we do, like we see the reflection off my helmet, and I think we see a panel with me and Ryder earlier, where we're like getting into almost an argument, and I'm like, "You don't have to stay with Faye. You can come out with us. She'll be fine." And Ryder saying something, and I'm like, "Look, I can be a leader, but I'm not as strong as you are. Like, I'm not as good a leader as you are." And I think it's just like a moral thing of like Ryder saying something like, "You can do this. You are as good a leader as I am." Something along those lines. And it's just the emotion of like, I can be a leader that gives me the prep to hit more true.
Okay. Pushes up to a 7, so pick one.
I'm going to take something from him.
Okay.
I'm going to break one of those keyboards.
I think we see this wave fly past and just shatter off two of the keyboard, like shatter through two of the keyboards. Like one of the holographic arms just shatters as this wave hits it, and like we see Remix spin to try and avoid getting hit in the body by this, and that portal snaps shut. Remix spins, seeing you for the first time, and pulls a small gun-looking device out of his belt. He holds it up, presses the buttons, and 2 taser wires hit you in the chest. Let's go ahead and take a powerful blow.
That's an 8. I think I'm going to lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict. I think I'm going to take advantage of my influence in condition. I think as I get hit with these tasers, I'm like, "Brian, stop him. You're destined to become him. Just make him stop." And I think I'm going to get rid of my influence over Brian and either mark guilty or insecure.
Damn.
We don't use that move enough.
We have you like continuing to be tased as Remix is walking towards you as you're yelling this out. Remix starts typing with his other hand, and you hear him say, "Dykstra, we need to go. They're a lot tougher than you said they would be." Brian, what are you doing?
Brian was looking down in the hole to see what to see if he can see Dykstra escape from the machine as it blows up. But he turns around at hearing Lighthammer. And how far away am I from what's going on over there with Remix?
30, 40 feet?
Probably, actually, just on instinct, Brian will start running towards them without trying to discern much detail of what he's actually seeing.
In front of Remix, we see the portal snap open. Brian, you're probably going to make it like right as that starts to close. Carl, you are close enough to do something here?
I'm going to jump on Remix and try to wrestle him. Try to immobilize him, maybe.
I'm going to give you the choice. It either just happens, or if you want to roll to directly engage, feel free. I think you are physically a lot stronger than Remix, and his back is to you.
I'm going to let it just happen, but I'll make it. I'll make it look fun in the panel. I think what happens is that Carl turns back into like Blue Carl and sneaks up on Remix and jumps on him, but Remix turns around and grabs his hands. And then Remix has, how many other arms does he have?
One left at this point, one additional, so 3 total.
So they start struggling, and Remix uses his third arm to almost push Carl back, but then Carl goes, more arms, and like 2 arms just grow out of Carl, and he wrestles him to the ground.
Fantastic. With this, the taser falls out of Remix's hand. Lighthammer, you are no longer being tased. And things actually go kind of quiet. Remix struggles for a bit, but realizes fairly quickly that Carl can easily hold him. There's a bit of fire burning on the other side of the boardwalk, but we don't see any robots still moving. We see a couple melted by this explosion. What are y'all doing?
First, I want to jump down and grab my gauntlet. Then I want to jump up and grab Remix by the face with the gauntleted hand and be like, all right, you got our attention. What do you want? And I think I'm piercing the mask.
Cool. Go ahead and roll it.
That is a 7.
On A7, ask 1.
I think, what are you really planning?
We get a panel with Remix's face in your hand. He gets a very defiant look, and then like we see his eyes shift around, taking in the full like reality of the situation with Asimov, Carl, and you, and Dykstra nowhere to be seen. And then we can see him deflate. He goes, I'm trying to get that coin. Dykstra needs it. I don't know why.
So you attacked Songbird. You sent Greyhammer and Cinema to attack us to get the coin back. What do you get out of this?
To be the only Brian.
Oh, honey, here's the thing. There's a multiverse. There's like probably millions of you all.
Oh, I know. We've killed most of them.
Well, you're not killing this one. This one's ours. Does he have any like tech on him?
We see like various bits of tech built into his suit. I'm gonna, if it's okay, shift the spotlight to Brian here real quick.
Can we say that he walked up as I was like, you can't have this one, he's ours?
As Brian like steps up, he looks over at Brian and just says, I don't get it. You're the one who made him, and you're not willing to join him? Don't you realize how strong he is?
Yes, I created him. And if you've ever created something like that, you would understand.
He kind of like looks down dejected and goes, I wish I'd been the one to create him.
Honestly, I wish you were too. And then I'm going to pathetically punch him.
I think I just like put a hand on Brian's shoulder as I like reach down. And since we still have that one hold left, can I say that we have that one hold was prepping like handcuffs? So we have the like power nullifying handcuffs. We have a set of them with us.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if you want, what is your plan with Remix? Are they being turned over to Saber, or what you think? Because if you want that hold to have been like a Saber team, like a Saber pickup team, that's fine. I just don't know what you're all planning on doing with him.
I think Saber is the most logical choice. I think that, yeah, we have a Saber team coming to pick him up. I put my hand on Brian's shoulder and just like, I think we share a look as the Saber vehicles pull up. I'm hoping we're having one of those like no words need to be spoken thing where I'm like silently saying I'm sorry for being a dick earlier.
Brian, is that enough that you would consider it a comfort or support?
Yeah.
That's a 5.
So I think we get the panel of the like Saber vehicle, or the Saber like armored van with a Remix inside, starting to drive off, and you hear yelled out of the van Brian's voice saying, "You know he's just gonna break me out." And then we see Lighthammer with the whole hand on Brian's shoulder.
Brian's going to suggest as they're driving off, you guys know what happens to alcohol when you let it sit out for a while, right? And I bring Isaac over, and it pours a cup of tequila. Actually, it pours two cups of tequila, but who's going to get them?
And maybe a moment like right before the two of them like meet eyes, in the air, in the distance over the shallow water of the beach, we see a portal rip open and a figure fall out. Then we see a splash in the water.
I think at this point, Carl has kind of wandered off because he's never seen a boardwalk. So he's definitely like in front of the, what do you call those in English? The funhouse mirrors or whatever. And he's really fascinated by this whole concept of fun mirrors. And as the portal opens up behind him, which color does Face Portal have?
Face Portal is normally the like shattered glass with pink on the outside of it. But if I had to guess, this portal's probably more fiery. Similar coloring, but more fire than shattered glass effect. If I had to guess.
Yeah, I think it was that combo.
So I think within the funhouse mirrors, the portal on the panel gets distorted into the shape of a big pink fiery butterfly. Yeah, I'm just gonna surf over there and just not tell anyone.
Cool. And so let's jump back to Brian and Lighthammer.
Gonna have a sip of the tequila because I know, like a good adult knows, that you don't take shots of tequila, you sip it.
And Brian tries to drink it normally and goes and is now doing the thing where you wave your hand in front of your face, like trying to cool yourself down.
We're going to cut to Carl just on the edge of the beach, and rising up from the water, you can see just a ton of steam. And then it starts moving towards you, and then pulling out of the water, you see Supai. And Supai looks as ragged as Faye did when Faye first came back. Except Supai's missing an eye at this point, has like a big old slash across the face with a missing eye. Supai looks up, sees Carl, goes, Are you Carl? You look different.
I think Carl goes, "You're not Faye. Hello there. What's your name? I'm Carl."
I thought so. We've met before. Supai, do you know where Faye is? I need to tell her what's coming. Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year, or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. She can be found at thuth playwright on Twitter or tphuth94 on Instagram. Faces is GM by me, Anthony Sheets. Lighthammer is played by TP Huth. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at the Versian on Twitter, and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.